Zach, Khalil Shakir catches pretty much everything Josh Allen throws him. What makes their connections so good?
I think he just where he's supposed to be at in the route concepts, and he makes plays for him. I mean, I remember a couple years ago he made a big, I want to say it might have been a third down conversion against us here at home, and that's when we first found out about him. And it's crazy to see how much his game has grown. But I think that you can say that about their whole receiving corps, man. They tough guys. They are where they're supposed to be at in the route concepts. They make the plays when Josh gives them the opportunity, and then they're good rat guys. So we respect those guys. Obviously, we know Shakir is the leading receiver, and they're going to try to find ways to give him the football. So we have to make sure that we're ready for that.
Zach, he completed passes to 10 different guys last week. He's always been, a heck of a quarterback, but do you see a kind of a difference with him like this year, maybe a different approach, and if so, in what way?
I think, yeah, he's a heck of a player. I just think that he's spreading the ball out more. You really don't know where the ball is going to go. Like, all his receivers are liable to get the ball in any situation at any point in time, including the running backs, including the tight ends. So, that's what makes them a tough offense to defend, besides what he does with his arm and his legs. So I think that, in years past, he obviously had a Pro Bowl, all-pro receiver who you can kind of sometimes in certain situations lock in and key in on. Now these guys, he's spreading the ball around, I think, even more.
Zach, obviously the defense played very well for 3 quarters in Dallas. What did you make of the fourth quarter? Why was it such a stark contrast that you guys played so well and then had such difficulty late?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to execution, man, and we just got to get better. And I think I got to, help those guys out even more, just have a clear understanding of the situation and what we're trying to get accomplished in those situations. It's not a lack of guys wanting to or trying to. We just come up short in that area, and it's something that we're looking at hard, something that we're focusing on, with the communication, with the tackling, with the calls, with me as well. So we all in this together. We grinding to try to make it right. We know we're capable of doing, but we have to do it for 4 quarters, and we haven't done it the last 2 games, and that's where we're at right now, and that's what we're so motivated to get better at, and to show that we can put a complete game together.
In particular, the middle of the field, 15 to 20 yards there with their consistent hit. What would you describe that specific part to?
Yeah, man. I mean, some of it I would say is, good call on the offense versus what we're in as a defense. So sometimes that happens. You make a call and they're in a good play for that coverage or that pressure. And then sometimes we just got to play some techniques better, and we got to coach some techniques better. Obviously we talk about it. The middle of the field is the easiest part for the quarterback to complete a pass. So we want to pack the paint. And we haven't done a good enough job of doing that this year. So it goes in the same deal as finishing games. I think that goes hand in hand. We have to protect the middle of the field, make the quarterback throw the ball outside, and take our chances with that.
Zach, are your linebackers getting deep enough to drop in the middle of the field?
I think so. I think it's a combination. Sometimes it's like that's what we're trying to. It's like right now we're lighting the match and it's staying lit. It's getting a spark, but then it's blowing out. So sometimes, the backers we're getting deep enough, and we're too deep in the back end, or we're not getting deep enough, as backers. So, like I said, man, it's a collective effort. It's not just the linebackers, it's not just the DBs. A lot of times it's the call as well. So we all trying to collaborate and work together to make this thing right.
Zach, is it a challenge to not overcorrect because so many things are going well through 3 quarters, to not dwell too much on that, but also you want to recognize you need to finish games?
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to overcorrect, because most teams they make a little small adjustments here and there throughout the game, and you notice that. We knew the adjustments that they were making. So obviously we could have done some things better. But as soon as you start overreacting, that's what teams kind of want you to do. You start overreacting that, and now you leave yourself vulnerable in another situation, and you give up an explosive. So it's trying to find a happy medium of what's the problem, what's the issue, how they're trying to attack, and how we're going to counter react to it.
Exactly. We look at the PFF stuff for certain guys, and I think one of the interesting splits, I guess you want to call it, is Marcus Williams playing more in the box than he ever has. Is that just you guys trying to figure out where he's best, where he's most unpredictable? How would you kind of assess how he's done in all these different spots?
Yeah, I think that the one thing you don't want to do as a defense is where they can just peg, where the offense can peg where guys are at. If they know where a guy's going to be at every single time, now they can scheme you up a whole bunch of different ways. So Marcus is a talented guy. He's been doing a heck of a job for us this year. And, all our guys in the back end can play in the box. They can play deep. So we let those guys do that.
You played a lot of time against the Cowboys. Was that more a reaction to what you anticipated from them? Was it more you wanted to get a guy like Ardarius on the field? He obviously played well. I mean, what was the kind of the impetus for that?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. We had a dime package ready because the Cowboys, they've shown a lot of 4 wides on film. They spread the ball out and throw the ball, and it's a combination of what they do and what we want to do on defense, and getting different guys out there on the field like Eddie Jackson. These guys are real good football players, so it'll be kind of criminal to keep those guys on the sideline the whole time. But it was a mixture of both.
It seemed like on the second to the last touchdown, I think Roquan was maybe expecting Marlon to trail the guy over the middle, and he was wide open. Do you think communication is an issue, or do you think the couple times where the communication wasn't perfect that the good quarterbacks capitalized?
Nah, I don't think communication. It's something we striving for all the time. That's like one of our main things we talk about: great communication, because that's half the battle. Make sure everybody on the same page, and if you're not on the same page, you're not gonna really have a chance. But obviously, when you have a misstep, shoot, any quarterback in the league, specifically, the real good ones, they're gonna capitalize on that. On that play right there, I'll take that one. I wouldn't put that on Roe or Marlon.
Sam, defenses have been trying to disguise more and more, especially over the last few seasons. Do you think that there's a challenge of having too much of a disguise, or trying to give off a facade of different defenses to it? Can it be punishing for you, or a negative?
Yeah, sometimes if you're doing way too much of it, we always talk about never let your disguise, take you away from your responsibility. So I think we do a heck of a job here, marrying our looks up so offenses don't know exactly what we're in. The challenge of that is these offenses and these quarterbacks, if they know what you're in, they're just going to check the play and check to the beater of it. So you can't just give them the answer all the time pre-snap. But there is some merit to getting where you got to get to, and just playing ball and just out executing the person across from you.
James Cook has really elevated their run game. Before it used to be the run game was Josh Allen and then they would throw. But how has that dynamic affected your game planning for them?
Yeah, it's a lot more runs with the running backs. I think James Cook has elevated himself to one of the top backs in the league. He's an explosive player. We knew about him a couple years ago coming out of Georgia. I think he's just matured in his play with experience. His confidence is through the roof, and the talent has always been there. So he's definitely put it all together, and he's somebody that we're going to have to make sure that we have a handle on, not only in the run game but in the pass game as well. Because I've seen a lot of explosive plays with him coming out of the backfield, running 40 yards down the field, tracking the ball, which is very impressive. So we got a lot of respect for what he's done so far this year. So it's something that we're going to have to be ready for.
Zach, the Bills' offense is one of the best in the NFL in the red zone. Just how challenging it is to account for, because as you mentioned, Josh Allen's spreading it out everywhere. And then he's also somebody you have to account for in the red zone.
Yeah.
He loves to launch himself in there.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of trying to solve that puzzle?
It's real challenging because whenever you got a quarterback who can throw the ball like he can, but also they have designed QB runs, that's an extra hat. So you have to account for that. Most times, if you just call a regular defense, you don't have an extra hat for the quarterback on design runs. And we're not just talking about regular zone read runs. We're talking about like QB counter, QB power, like real deal, downhill runs. So that's what makes it challenging. So as soon as you put everybody in there to stop the run, well, he's still a quarterback. He can still throw the ball. So I think it comes down to us executing, us understanding, where we got to be at and what plays they're trying to do in these certain situations to make sure that we have everybody accounted for, as well as him accounted for in the run game. So they definitely stretch you as a defense, but I think we got guys that are up for the challenge and they can handle it.